Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be patching my favorite pair of jeans. I have this hole at the knee, which is just growing bigger and bigger. So instead of throwing them away and buying a new pair of jeans, why not add a patch and add my own little design element and personalize them? And hey, patching is such a great way to give your clothes a second life. It adds a unique design touch and it keeps your wardrobe sustainable and environmentally friendly. Now let's get started. So here I'm thinking I'm either gonna do this brown. I have two pieces of scrap fabric here. They're both twill. I'm either gonna do this brown or this navy blue. I couldn't decide. I even thought about maybe making two patches and stacking them on each other would look cute. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean up all these loose threads around the holes. I'm not gonna make the hole bigger, but I am gonna remove all this extra thread around there and try to preserve as much as I can. And then I'm just gonna draw a little square around this area to determine how big I want to make that patch. So I've got my little piece of fabric. I think I really like this one the best. And I'm just going to lay it on top. It's big enough piece of scrap fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine the width and height of my patch. And it looks like I'm going to do about 3 inches in height. And then I'll probably do about 4 inches wide. So I'm just drawing with this heat erasable pen right now around that hole just to make sure. Now that I know I want it to be 3 by 4, I'm gonna take my patch and I'm just gonna go ahead and draw it before I cut it because I don't want to end up cutting it too small, so better safe than sorry, right? Waste as little fabric as possible here. Right now I'm just going to go ahead and cut it, and I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch around where I cut just to be sure that my fabric is a good size. And I think that turned out to be pretty good. I like the size. So now I have to decide how I want to patch this. I can either lay it right on top of the hole and patch it this way, or I can stick it underneath the denim and patch it that way. What I'll do first is I'm gonna baste this patch onto the denim, and then I'll go to my machine and I'm gonna top stitch using a top stitch thread vertically along this edge. But before I do that, I wanna go ahead and baste this down. Now I'm gonna use this sashiko thread because I wanna see if I like the basting, the look of it. If I like that, I might go ahead and leave that basting thread as an additional design element. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and baste it, then I'll top stitch it, and then I'll decide what I want to do. All right, now I'm just drawing a grid here using my clear ruler, and I'm drawing the vertical lines 1/2 inch apart. Then I'm going to draw the horizontal lines. This is a guide for me when I decide if I'm gonna do like a sashiko design to patch this down or a machine, because I haven't decided yet. Once I baste with the sashiko thread, I can see if I like the look and decide from there whether I'm gonna use my machine to top stitch this down or if I'm gonna just go ahead and hand stitch this using sashiko. All right, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and pin this down, and now I'm going to turn it inside out and baste from the back because I can see the edge of the fabric this way. If I do it from the top, I'd have to kind of guess and it would be just a little bit harder and more challenging to sew it down that way. I'll be using this gold top stitch thread, which matches what they used on the jeans. Now before I top stitch the jeans, I'm just gonna do a sample to make sure. And I am gonna use a little bit wider stitch, about 3.5, and see how that looks. If I like that length, that's the length I'll be using on my patch. So this is a little bit challenging for me to get these jeans in my sewing machine. Now some sewing machines it might be easier because you have that little arm that you can wrap things around. But you just have to be patient and you can get it in there. And you have to go, I'm gonna be going really slow. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stitch vertical lines from all the way across to make sure I secure this patch down to the pair of jeans. So I'll start at this end and I'm gonna work my way across and just do vertical lines. And that's it. I went ahead and created those vertical lines. Now I'm gonna go ahead and remove this basting sashiko thread because I actually don't like it. I think I'm gonna remove it. Maybe next patch I do, I'll try again to do a sashiko style patch. But for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. And then I'm also gonna go ahead and iron this down. It'll remove that heat erasable pen marks as well. And this wraps up this video of how to patch a pair of jeans at the knees. I hope you guys enjoyed this and I hope to see you in the next video.